Imagine a man. He's done it. He's achieved the dream. He sits on a beach, laptop open but ignored. The notifications on his phone tell him that money, passive income, has arrived. He does not have to work. He is free. But look closer. His face is not calm. He is bored. He feels empty. Or maybe the picture is darker. Maybe the man on the beach is secretly drowning in debt, his passive income system a fragile house of cards, one market dip away from total collapse. He sold his life for a fantasy, and now the fantasy is a nightmare. This is not a movie. This is the hidden reality for thousands who have chased the popular definition of financial freedom. It is a beautiful, seductive, and dangerous lie. Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to talk about that lie. We are going to tear it down, piece by piece, and build something better in its place. We are told, relentlessly, that the goal of life is to stop working. We are sold a fantasy of early retirement, of sipping drinks on a beach while our assets do the work for us. But this idea is a trap. It is a seductive trap that has been marketed to us by gurus and so-called experts. And here's the dirty secret. Many of these experts got rich selling you the dream, not by actually living it. They sell courses for $99 or hold seminars for $5,000, all promising to teach you the secret to never working again. But the secret is that there is no secret. That entire model is flawed. This audiobook presents a radical, counterintuitive idea. What if the goal is not to stop working? What if meaningful, challenging labor is not a curse, but our single greatest asset? Think about it. When are you most alive? When you are bored and idle, or when you are engaged in a challenge, solving a problem, creating something new? Work is not just how we make a living. It is how we forge our character. It is the gym for our minds. It is the engine of our personal growth. It builds resilience, discipline, and a sense of purpose that no amount of passive income can ever buy. In this journey together, we will redefine financial freedom. We will learn that true freedom is not about having infinite money. It is about having a stable foundation, a stable cash flow that allows you to pursue the work that matters to you. It is the elimination of anxiety, not the elimination of activity. We will explore the art of supervision, how to lead and not just loaf. We will discover that money is simply a byproduct, a result of the value we create for others. And we will learn how to build a legacy based on a strong work ethic, not just a full bank account. Because this is serious, let me pause. Before the day rushes in, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, only if you truly enjoy what I am doing here. And in the comments, write your location, your time zone, and the time right now, this morning. Now open the curtains and let the light in. Pour a glass of water. Maybe brew a coffee or tea. Set your phone to do not disturb and take one deep breath. Let's begin our journey this morning. Chapter 1. The Seductive Trap. Let's talk about the dream. You know the one. You see it every single day. It's a photo on social media. A pair of feet propped up on a balcony, overlooking a perfect blue ocean. The caption reads, "Another tough day at the office." It's a video ad that interrupts your music. A 25-year-old in a rented Lamborghini, pointing at the screen, telling you that your 9-to-5 job is a scam. He says he found a secret. He says you can have this too. The dream has many names. The laptop lifestyle, the new rich, early retirement, But its most powerful, most alluring name is financial freedom. It is a beautiful, intoxicating promise. It is the promise of an escape from the alarm clock, an escape from the traffic, an escape from the boss you do not like and the meetings that go nowhere. It is the promise that one day, very soon, you will make enough money from your assets that you will never, ever have to work again. Your money will work for you. You will finally be free. This promise is the most powerful marketing tool of our generation. And in this chapter, we are going to look at it for what it really is. Not a goal, but a product. Not a destination, but a seductive trap. Why is it so powerful? Why does it hook us so deeply? First, it promises the ultimate status symbol, consumption without contribution. In our world, we are taught that work is a price you pay for the life you want. The trap promises that you can bypass this rule. You can be the person who enjoys all the fruits of society, the great restaurants, the travel, the nice homes, without having to contribute any of your time or energy to creating them. You become a permanent, full-time consumer. This is held up as the pinnacle of success. Second, it hits our deepest psychological triggers. It targets our exhaustion. Let's be honest, many of us are tired. We feel overworked and underappreciated. This dream offers us the ultimate rest. It offers a permanent vacation. It also targets our fear, the fear of being ordinary, the fear of being just another cog in the machine. The person selling the dream always positions themselves as special, as someone who cracked the code. And they promise that for a small price, you can crack the code too. You can be special. You can be the one who escaped the matrix. But this is where the trap snaps shut. This dream, this financial freedom, is not an idea we came up with on our own. It is an idea that is being actively sold to us. It is the core product of a massive multi-billion-dollar industry of online gurus, coaches, and financial experts. Think about it. Where did you first hear these specific phrases? You heard them from someone selling a course for $99. You heard them from someone promoting a weekend seminar for $2,000. You heard them from a mastermind group that costs $10,000 a year to join. These gurus have built empires by marketing this one single idea. They are not selling you a financial strategy. They are selling you an escape. They are selling you a fantasy. And here is the truly dangerous part. The pursuit of this fantasy is the first step toward your own failure. The damage begins the moment you buy in. The first thing it does is foster a get-rich-quick mentality. The focus is no longer on building a valuable skill, a craft, or a sustainable business over 10 or 20 years. The focus is on the exit. How fast can I get out? You become impatient. You stop valuing the process of work and start seeing it only as a prison to escape from. This impatience leads directly to the second problem. It encourages reckless speculation. When you believe in a magic shortcut, you start looking for it everywhere. You are no longer an investor. You are a lottery player. You are the perfect target for the next high-risk gamble. You jump into cryptocurrency coins named after cartoon dogs, hoping to ride a wave. You pour money into a guaranteed automated online store, believing the sales pitch that you never have to touch a single product. You get involved in complex real estate systems that promise you can buy houses with no money down. You are chasing the one big score that will let you quit forever. And like any gambler, you are far more likely to lose it all than to hit the jackpot. But the third and most damaging part of the trap is this. It creates passivity. It fundamentally changes the way you see the world. You stop thinking like a creator and start thinking like a harvester. Your primary question is no longer, what can I build? Or what value can I add? Your primary question becomes, how can I get paid for doing the least amount of work possible? This mindset is poison. It makes you intellectually lazy. You stop developing your skills because you believe skills are for slaves in the 9-to-5 world. You stop learning because you are focused on passively receiving, not actively creating. You become a target. You are a ship without an engine, waiting for a magic wind to blow you to your destination. And the only wind that comes is the hot air from the next guru trying to sell you another map. So let's be very clear. The trap is not that the goal of becoming wealthy is unrealistic. The trap is that the chase for this specific, lazy version of freedom makes you weaker. It drains your focus, wastes your money, and erodes your character. The fantasy of doing nothing is the most expensive purchase you will ever make. It will cost you your time, your focus, and your unique potential. Now that we have seen the trap laid bare, we need to ask, who are the people setting it? And who has been caught? We need to look at the heroes of this movement, the icons we are all told to follow. Because when you look closely at their stories, you will not find freedom. You will find that the dream is often a complete and total nightmare. It is time to talk about the fallen idols. Chapter 2. The Fallen Idols. Every movement has its heroes. Every religion has its saints. And the new religion of financial freedom is no different. It has its own idols. These are the men and women we are told to admire. They are the faces on the covers of magazines. They are the authors of the books on our nightstands. They are the voices we listen to on our commute, promising us a better way. We are told to study them, to copy their habits, to memorize their quotes. But what happens when you look behind the poster? What happens when you peek behind the curtain and see the real person operating the machine? Today, in this chapter, we are going to do exactly that. We are going to look at the heroes of this movement, and we are going to see that their lives are not the dream they have been selling you. Often, their lives are a prison. Let's start with the first and perhaps most famous idol. He is the global icon, the father of passive income. You know who I'm talking about. You have almost certainly read his book. It probably changed the way you thought about money. His core message was simple, and it felt like a revelation. He told us that our traditional education was a lie. He said that the rich do not work for money. Instead, they have their money work for them. He taught us the difference between an asset and a liability. He told us that your house is not an asset. He said our goal should be to escape the rat race. It was brilliant. It was simple. It spread like wildfire. An entire generation, 2 entire generations, built their financial philosophies on this one idea. This man built an empire. Not just books, but seminars, coaching programs, board games, and an entire brand dedicated to this concept of passive income. He was the living proof that it worked. He was the goal. And then, just recently, the cracks began to show. The news reports started to surface. They were quiet at first. Then they became a roar. This man, the global icon of financial freedom, was not just in debt. He was drowning in it. The numbers were staggering, almost impossible to understand. Not $1 million, not $10 million, but reports of over $1 billion in corporate debt, hundreds of millions of dollars in personal liabilities. Think about that for a moment. The man who taught the world to buy assets, not liabilities, was now the king of liabilities. The man who taught us to escape the rat race was now trapped in a race he could never win, a race against his creditors, against the market, against the interest payments that must have felt like a tidal wave. What does this tell us? It tells us that his system was not freedom. It was a high-stakes, high-leverage gamble. To maintain the appearance of freedom, he had to build a machine so complex, so fragile, that it required constant, high-stress management. He was not on a beach. He was in boardrooms, in emergency calls with bankers. He did not have his money work for him. He was a slave to his own system. A man who owes a bank $100,000 has a problem. A man who owes a bank $100 million is owned by the bank. This is not freedom. This is the most complicated cage ever built. He did not escape the rat race. He just built a faster, more expensive hamster wheel. And he is just one example. He is the first kind of fallen idol, the one who preached the system but was ultimately destroyed by it. Now, let's talk about the second kind of idol. This one is more common. This is the idol you see every single day in your social media feed. This is the online guru. He is young, he is flashy, and he is renting a very expensive car. He stands in front of a rented mansion, points to his laptop, and tells you a story. The story is always the same. I was just like you, he says. I was a barista. I was a software engineer. I was a cog in the machine, working a dead-end 9-to-5 job, making my boss rich. Then, he lowers his voice. I discovered the system. The system changes depending on the year. Maybe it is dropshipping. Maybe it is Amazon FBA, fulfilled by Amazon. Maybe it is real estate wholesaling, or cryptocurrency, or affiliate marketing. The system itself does not matter. He shows you a screenshot from his phone. It shows a balance. $30,000. He says, I made this last month, passively. And then comes the sales pitch. I've created a blueprint, a step-by-step guide that shows you exactly how I did it. I normally sell this exclusive blueprint for $5,000. But for the first 100 people who sign up today, I am going to give it to you for just $999. He is selling you the dream. He is selling you the escape. But we have to stop and ask the one question he hopes you never ask. How did he really make his money? Did he truly get rich from dropshipping? Did he make his millions from Amazon? In almost every single case, the answer is no. He got rich by selling you a course about dropshipping. He got rich by teaching you about Amazon. Let's do the math in simple words. If his course costs $1,000, he only needs to find 1,000 people to buy it to make $1 million. It is so much easier and so much more profitable to sell the map than it is to actually go on the treasure hunt. This is the guru paradox. His real full-time business is not the one he is selling you. His real business is selling you. His product is your desire to be free. Now let's ask, is he financially free? Is he passive? Absolutely not. He is a full-time, active salesman. He has to wake up every single day and find new customers. He has to run social media ads. He has to host live webinars. He has to answer emails. He has to manage a sales funnel. He has to constantly create new content, new videos, new pitches, all to convince a new wave of people to buy his dream. He is not passive. He is one of the hardest working salespeople on the planet. He is trapped. He is trapped by his own product. He cannot stop because if he stops selling, the money stops. So here we have our two fallen idols. The global icon, who was trapped by his crushing debt. The online guru, who is trapped by his relentless need to sell. Both of these figures, the heroes of the passive income movement, live lives that are the exact opposite of what they promise. Their lives are not passive. Their lives are not free. Their lives are defined by immense pressure, by constant grinding activity, and by the desperate need to keep the machine running. This is not an accident. This is the inevitable result of the dream itself. The dream is hollow. It's a facade. It's a product. And it is time to stop buying it. If the passive dream is a lie, then what is the truth? If the assets we are told to buy are just another form of trap, what does a real asset look like? It is time to talk about the myth of absolute passive income. Chapter 3. The myth of absolute passive income. So the idols have fallen. The dream they sold us is not the life they are living, but maybe the idea is still good, right? Maybe they just did it wrong. Maybe there is still a way to set it and forget it. Maybe there is an asset out there, a true asset, that you can buy, lock in a safe, and have it spit out cash for you every month, forever, with no effort. This is the myth of absolute passive income. And in this chapter, we are going to hunt it down and expose it. Because this myth is the most dangerous part of the trap. Let's start with the classic example. The one all the books tell you to buy. Real estate. They tell you to buy a rental property, or better yet, buy a small apartment building, a fourplex. The logic is so clean. You live in one unit, they say, and the rent from the other 3 units pays your entire mortgage. You are living for free. It is passive. It sounds perfect. But let's ask, is it true? Let's imagine you do it. You save up, you buy the building, you find 3 tenants. The first month, the checks come in. It works. You feel like a genius. Then, the second month begins. It is 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Your phone rings. It is your tenant from Unit B. A pipe has burst. The apartment is flooding. Are you passive now? You are not sleeping. You are calling a plumber, begging him to come out at this hour. You are calculating the cost of the repair, the cost of the water damage. You are now an active, wide-awake, and very stressed-out project manager. A week later, your tenant from Unit C tells you he is moving out. The passive income from that unit just went to 0. Now you are an active marketing manager, placing ads and screening applicants. You are an active risk assessor, running credit checks. You are an active salesperson, showing the property on your weekends. Then, the real problem. The tenant in Unit A stops paying. He will not answer your calls. He will not leave. You have just become an active legal specialist, navigating the complex, expensive, and incredibly stressful process of eviction. This asset is not passive. It is a business. You are the chief executive officer of this small business. You are the head of maintenance, the head of marketing, the head of finance, and the head of legal. But wait, the gurus say. You just need to hire a property manager. Then it is passive. So you do. You hire a company. They take 10% of the rent, right off the top. This cuts into your profit, but you are willing to pay for freedom. But what happens when that new, beautiful apartment building opens up across the street? It is brand new. It has a gym. It has a pool. Your property manager calls you. All your tenants are leaving, he says. The new building is charging the same rent you are. What should we do? You are not passive. You are now an active strategist, deciding whether to cut your price, pour $50,000 into renovations you cannot afford, or sell the building at a loss. Your asset is not a magic money machine. It is a product in a competitive market. and it requires active, intelligent management. Okay, so maybe real estate is not the answer. Maybe that is too old school. Let's talk about the new dream. The digital dream, the automated online business. The guru tells you to build an e-commerce store. You do not even have to touch the products. You just make a website and a company in China ships the products for you. It is passive. It works. You sell 100 units, then 1,000. You are making money while you sleep. Then, the platform you use, the giant online marketplace, changes its rules. They change their search algorithm. Suddenly your store is invisible. Your sales go to zero. Overnight. Or worse, they see your product is successful, so they decide to make it themselves. They source it cheaper. They put their version at the top of every search. You are out of business in a week. You did not build a castle. You built a sandcastle, right next to the ocean. And the tide just came in. In every one of these passive scenarios, you are not a free owner. You are a tenant on someone else's platform. Your income, your business, your freedom can be taken from you in an instant by a person you have never met in a boardroom 1,000 miles away. There is no such thing as set it and forget it. Why? Because the universe itself is not passive. The universe does not move toward stability. It moves toward chaos. The scientific word for this is entropy. Entropy means that everything, if left alone, will naturally fall apart. Your building, if you do not repair it, will crumble. Your website, if you do not update it, will become obsolete. Your skills, if you do not practice them, will fade. To fight this natural decay, you must apply active, intelligent energy. The world is not static. It is dynamic. A global pandemic can change the world in a month. A new technology, like artificial intelligence, can make your automated skill worthless. The person who believes in passive income is the person who is standing still. And the person who stands still in a moving world will be left behind. They get wiped out. The person who is vigilant, the person who is active, is the one who sees the change coming. They adapt. They learn. They survive. Complacency is the true forerunner of ruin. So we need to throw away the word passive. It is the most dangerous, most misleading word in our financial vocabulary. Let's replace it with a better word, a more honest word. The word is leverage. A rental property is not passive income. It is leveraged income. You are leveraging your capital, the building, and a system, the property manager, to multiply your time. But you are still the pilot. You are still the one who must watch the map, check the weather, and guide the plane. An online business is not passive. It is leveraged. You are leveraging technology and a platform to reach millions of customers. But you are still the strategist. The goal is not to be absent. The goal is to be leveraged. The fantasy is to set it and forget it. The reality is to build it and guide it. This changes everything. If the goal is no longer to be lazy, if the goal is no longer to escape, then what is the goal? If we must be active, if we must apply energy, what should we be doing? This brings us to a new, healthier definition of freedom. It is time to redefine what we are actually fighting for. Chapter 4. True freedom, not thinking about money, at your current standard. So let's pause. We have spent the last 3 chapters tearing down the dream. We have exposed the trap. We have unmasked the fallen idols, and we have shown that absolute passive income is a dangerous myth. You might be feeling a little frustrated right now. You might be thinking, okay, I get it. The do-nothing dream is a lie. So what is the point? Why should I work so hard if the end goal is not to finally rest? What are we even fighting for? This is the most important question, and the answer is the key to a better life. We are redefining the goal. We are throwing away the old, broken definition and replacing it with something real, something achievable, and something far more powerful. Here is the new definition. True financial freedom is not a number in your bank account. It is not $1 million. It is not $10 million. It is not about being rich. True financial freedom is a state of mind. It is a feeling. It is the psychological security that comes from one simple thing: having a stable cash flow so you do not have to worry about money for your current lifestyle. Let's break that down, because every word matters. First, a stable cash flow. This is the foundation. Notice the word is stable, not explosive. It is not about gambling. It is not about high-risk, high-stress ventures. It is about building something reliable and resilient. It is the predictable result of your consistent, intelligent, active labor. It is the paycheck from your valuable skill. It is the profit from your well-managed business. It is the rent from your well-supervised properties. It is stable. Second, so you do not have to worry about money. This is the core of the freedom. It is the elimination of anxiety. Let's compare two people. Person A is a millionaire. His $1 million is all tied up in a speculative new technology. If it works, he will be a billionaire. If it fails, he will be bankrupt. He checks his phone every 5 minutes. He is not sleeping. He snaps at his family. He has a lot of money, but he is a slave to his anxiety. He is not free. Person B is a master plumber. She has spent 10 years building her craft and her reputation. She has a small, well-run business with 2 employees. She makes a solid, predictable income. She has a 6-month emergency fund in the bank. She does not worry about a single bad client. She does not worry about a surprise car repair. When she is home with her family, she is home. She sleeps soundly. Who is truly free? The new definition of freedom is not about being rich. It is about having enough. It is about reaching the point where your basic needs, your housing, your food, your family's security, are so well covered by your stable cash flow that your mind is liberated from the daily panic of survival. This brings us to the third part of the definition: for your current lifestyle. This is the part that makes freedom achievable. The old broken dream told you that you needed millions, a mansion, and a private jet to be free. It was a fantasy. It was a goal so impossibly distant that it just made you feel poor and desperate right now. This new definition is personal. It is your goal, not someone else's. Maybe your ideal lifestyle is simple. You want a small apartment, good food, a few great books, and the ability to travel once a year. Your freedom number is achievable. You can build a stable cash flow for that life. Maybe your ideal lifestyle is bigger. You want a house. You want to support your parents. You want to give your children a great education. That is fine too. Your freedom number is just a different target. This definition is not a trap. It is a tool. It is a target you set for yourself, based on your own values. And this is the most beautiful part. When you achieve this freedom from anxiety, you do not stop working. You do not want to. Because what this freedom gives you is not the privilege of doing nothing. It gives you the privilege of choice. This is the true reward. It is the freedom to say no. It is the freedom to say no to the high-paying client who treats you with disrespect. It is the freedom to say yes. It is the freedom to say yes to a new project you truly believe in, even if it does not pay as much right now. It is the freedom to take a real vacation, to turn off your phone for a full week, knowing that your stable system is fine without you. It is the freedom to leave the safe job you hate and start the small business you have always dreamed of. Because you have your emergency fund and your anxiety is low. True financial freedom is not about escaping activity. It is about escaping desperation. It is about moving from a life of "I have to" a life of "I get to." This is the goal. We are not chasing the right to be lazy. We are chasing the right to be active in the way that matters most to us. So, if this security is our foundation, and this freedom gives us the choice to be active, what kind of activity should we choose? If work is not a curse, then what is it? It is time to answer that question. It is time to talk about why labor is, and always will be, your greatest asset. Chapter 5. Labor is glory. Why we must work for our entire lives. We have been taught a story. We have been taught that work is a curse. It is the punishment from the book of Genesis. It is the grind. It is the rat race. It is the gray, boring thing we are forced to do from Monday to Friday, just so we can earn 2 days of real life on the weekend. The passive income dream we talked about is so seductive because it promises the ultimate escape from this curse. It promises a life where every day is Saturday. But what if that entire story is wrong? What if work is not a curse? What if it is a privilege? This chapter is the central idea of this entire book. We are going to make the case that meaningful labor is not the obstacle to a good life. Meaningful labor is the good life. This is not a popular opinion. It is a radical one. But it is the truth. We are not built to be idle. Human beings are not like animals that are content to just eat and sleep. We are creators. We are problem solvers. We are builders. We have a deep biological need to be useful. When that need is not met, we do not feel free. We feel lost. Let's look at the evidence. What happens to people who achieve the dream of doing nothing? Think about people who inherit a large amount of money. Or think about people who retire too early, in their 40s or 50s, with no plan for what to do next. They have achieved freedom. They have endless Saturdays. Are they happy? For the first 6 months, maybe. They travel. They sleep in. They play golf. But very quickly, a feeling of emptiness creeps in. A fog descends. They wake up on a Tuesday morning with no plan, no purpose, and no challenge. Their minds, which were once sharp and engaged, start to get soft. A mind that is not challenged does not grow, it shrinks. They get lost in trivial things. They become consumed by gossip, by complaints, by small arguments. They feel bored. They feel anxious. They feel, in a word, worthless. This is the hidden despair of the idle rich. It is the story of the trophy wife who has everything but feels like a ghost in her own home, because she is forbidden from contributing. It is the reason so many lottery winners end up depressed, broke, or worse. They were given the poison of a life without meaning. We are designed to push against resistance. A muscle that is never used will waste away. It is called atrophy. The same is true for your mind, your character, and your spirit. Work is the resistance that makes us strong. It is the forge. Now let's talk about what is forged in that fire. When you engage in challenging, meaningful labor, you are building 4 assets that are far more valuable than any stock or bond. First, you forge resilience. Work, by its very nature, is a series of problems. A client is angry, a project fails, a deadline is impossible. Your first instinct is to run from these problems, but you cannot. So what do? You face them. You solve them. You fail, you learn, you try again, and you overcome. Each time you do this, you are building a muscle. You are building mental toughness. A life without problems does not make you happy. It makes you fragile. The first time a real crisis hits, you shatter. Work is the daily training that makes you anti-fragile. Second, you forge discipline. Motivation is cheap. It comes and goes. Discipline is what builds a life. Discipline is the choice to do what is necessary, even when you do not feel like it. It is showing up on the cold morning. It is making the hard phone call. It is sitting down to do the focused work when your mind wants to check social media. Work is the ultimate laboratory for discipline. It gives you a structure, a deadline, and a clear consequence if you fail. It forces you to be the master of your own moods, not a slave to them. This discipline is a superpower that bleeds into every other part of your life. Third, you forge skill. You cannot think your way to mastery. You cannot read a book and become a master carpenter, or a master coder, or a master leader. Mastery is earned. It is earned through doing. It is earned through thousands of hours of repetition, of making mistakes, of refining your craft. This skill, this mastery, is the only true financial security that exists. You can lose your job. You can lose your house. You can lose all your money in a market crash. But no one can ever take your skill from you. With that skill, you can always rebuild. The idle person has no skill. They are completely dependent on the asset they are so afraid of losing. And fourth, you forge purpose. This is the most important one. We all have a deep, fundamental need to know that our life matters. We need to know that if we disappeared tomorrow, someone would notice. Work is the most direct path to this feeling. When you do your job well, you are part of a chain of value. You are solving a problem for someone. You are making someone's life easier or better or more beautiful. You are contributing to something larger than yourself. That feeling of being useful is the bedrock of human self-esteem. It is the engine of a meaningful life. A paycheck is nice. But the feeling of earning that paycheck, of knowing you traded your valuable skill for it, is what builds true self-worth. This is why labor is glory. It is the process that turns you from a fragile, undisciplined, unskilled person into a resilient, disciplined, and valuable master of your craft. The old definition of freedom was about escaping work. The new definition is about finding the right work. The goal is not to stop. The goal is to find the challenge that forges you. So this presents a new question. If we are not meant to stop, but we also do not want to be stuck in a dead-end job, what is the path? How do we evolve our labor from manual work to something more? It is time to talk about the art of supervision. Chapter 6. The art of supervision. Leading, not loafing. I can hear what some of you might be thinking. Okay, I understand. Labor is glory. That sounds very noble. But I am 35 years old. Are you telling me I am supposed to be forging my character by flipping burgers or digging ditches for the rest of my life? I am tired. My back hurts. I want to do less manual work. This is a fair question, and the answer is a clear and absolute no. The goal is not to be stuck in the same gear forever. The goal is to evolve your labor. Think of your career, your life's work, in two main phases. Phase 1 is doing. This is where you start. This is the forge we talked about in the last chapter. You are the apprentice. You are the intern. You are the junior coder, the new salesperson, the rookie on the team. Your job is to learn the craft from the ground up. You are the one doing the manual, technical, day-to-day work. You must go through this phase. There are no shortcuts. This is where you build your mastery. You cannot become a great chef unless you have spent thousands of hours chopping vegetables. You cannot become a great business leader unless you understand the core tasks of your industry. This phase is non-negotiable, but you are not meant to stay there forever. Phase 2 is leading. Or if you are not managing people, let's call it guiding. This is the evolution. This is where you move from doing the work to directing the work. You have mastered the craft, and now your job is to build a system, a team, or a strategy around that craft. You stop being the best plumber in town, and you start owning the best plumbing business in town. You stop being the one writing all the code, and you become the architect designing the software. This is the leverage we talked about. This is where you stop trading your 1 hour for 1 hour's worth of pay. You build a system that can create value even when you are not physically present. And this is the most dangerous moment of your entire life. Because this is the moment where the passive income trap rears its head. This is the moment you are tempted to make the single most fatal mistake. It is the difference between two critical words: delegation and abdication. Delegation is smart. Delegation is necessary. Delegation is handing off a task to someone else who is skilled to do it, while you oversee the outcome. Abdication is poison. Abdication is handing off responsibility. Abdication is walking away. It is the passive dream. It is saying, "You take the wheel, I am going to the back of the bus to take a nap." Let me tell you a story. It is a true story about someone who learned this lesson the hard way. He built a successful company from nothing. He worked for 10 years, 15 hours a day. He was exhausted. He had finally made it. He had a great team, great clients, and a great product. He decided it was time for his passive dream. So he promoted his best manager. He gave her the keys. He said, "You are in charge. Keep it running. Send me the profits." And then he abdicated. He walked away. He bought a ticket and flew to the other side of the world. He spent an entire year living the dream. He did not check his email. He did not take phone calls. He was free. After 12 months, he flew home, expecting to see his bank account overflowing. Instead, he walked into a disaster. The company was on the verge of collapse. His best employees had quit. His biggest clients were angry and had left for the competition. The manager he had promoted was smart, but she was not a leader. She was not an owner. She was just trying to keep the lights on. The vision, the energy, the driving force of the company. It was all gone. It had walked out the door with him. It took him 2 full years of painful, stressful, grinding work to fix the mess. He had not taken a vacation. He had taken on a massive new debt of stress. His mistake was not delegation. His mistake was abdication. This is the true art of supervision. Your goal is to evolve your labor, not to escape it. You must delegate the $10 per hour tasks. You must stop packing the boxes. You must stop answering every single email. You delegate those tasks so you can free your mind to do the $1,000 per hour tasks. What are those tasks? Your new job is vision. Your new job is strategy. Your new job is supervision. Your new job is to be the one who looks at the map, not the one rowing the boat. Your new job is to ask, are we even in the right ocean? Your new job is to see the storm coming before it hits. Your new job is to inspire your team, to set the standard for quality, and to make the one or two critical decisions each year that will determine if the business survives or dies. This is not passive. This is the most active, high-stakes, and mentally demanding work of all. It is just different. It is the difference between working in your business and working on your business. The person who is still working in the system is a cog. The person who is working on the system is the architect. This is the true meaning of leverage. Leverage is not an escape from work. It is an elevation of your work. You are still working. But your labor is now smarter, more focused, and infinitely more valuable. This is the real path. It is not about reaching a magical finish line where you can stop. It is about the joy of evolving your contribution to its highest possible level. But to do this, you need a different focus. You cannot be focused on the money. You have to be focused on something else. It is time to talk about what true value really is. Chapter 7. True value. Money as a byproduct. Let's be honest. Most of us, when we think about our careers, we are focused on one primary question. How do I make more money? We ask it all the time. How do I get a raise? How do I find a higher-paying job? How do I charge more for my services? This question drives our decisions. It shapes our lives. Today, I want to suggest that this is the wrong question. It is not a bad question, but it is a secondary one. And by putting it first, we are actually making it harder to get the very thing we want. When your primary focus is, how do I make more money? You start making bad decisions. You cut corners to save a few dollars. You choose the high-paying client you hate over the interesting project that could build your reputation. You are tempted to sell a product you do not really believe in because the profit margin is high. Your focus on money actually repels it. People can feel when they are just a paycheck to you. Your team can feel it. Your customers can feel it. There is a better way. There is a more powerful, more honest question to ask. The real question is not, how do I earn? The real question is, what value can I create? This is the fundamental shift. This is the difference between a life of chasing and a life of attracting. In this chapter, we are going to learn that money is not the goal. Money is a byproduct. It is a result. It is the logical, natural consequence that flows to you when you focus on creating true, undeniable value. There is an old parable that explains this perfectly. It is the story of the 3 stonecutters. A traveler was walking down a road and came across a large quarry. He saw 3 different men, side by side, all doing the exact same job. They were carving huge blocks of stone. He walked up to the first stonecutter. The man was miserable. He was sweating, his shoulders were slumped, and he sighed with every swing of his hammer. The traveler asked him, "Sir, what are you doing?" The man scowled and did not look up. "What does it look like I am doing?" He grumbled. "I am carving a stone. It is back-breaking work. This stone is heavy, the sun is hot, and my day is long. I am doing this so I can get paid and go home." For this first man, work was a curse. It was a chore. It was just pain that he had to endure to get a paycheck. His focus was entirely on himself and his own discomfort. The traveler moved on to the second stonecutter. This man was working with a steady, competent rhythm. He was not smiling, but he was not miserable either. He was focused and professional. The traveler asked him, "Sir, what are you doing?" The man paused, wiped his brow, and said, "I am a stonecutter. I am building a statue. It is a good job. It is a skilled trade. I am proud of my work. It feeds my family, and it is an honest way to make a living." For this second man, work was a job. It was a transaction. He traded his skill for a paycheck. He had competence. He had dignity. But his focus was on the transaction itself. The traveler then walked to the third stonecutter. This man was in a different world. He was working with an energy the others lacked. He was completely absorbed. He would carve for a moment, then step back, look at the stone with a look of intense focus and joy, then step in again. He was humming. The traveler asked, "Sir, what are you doing?" The man finally paused, a huge smile on his face. He turned, not to the traveler but to the sky, and pointed at the top of the hill. "I," he said, "am creating a work of art. I am building a cathedral. People will come from all over the world for hundreds of years to see this. I am building something that will bring peace to people. I am building something that will outlast us all." Now, let's analyze this. All three men had the exact same job. All three men were carving stone. We can assume all three were earning the same pay, but they were not living in the same reality. The first man, who saw his work as a curse, will always be a low performer. He will do the minimum required. He will be the first one fired during a slowdown. He will never find joy, and he will always feel underpaid. The second man, who saw his work as a job, is a reliable employee. He is a good worker. He will have a stable, decent career. But he will never be great. He will never be a master. His contribution is limited to the transaction. The third man, who saw his work as a mission, is the one who will change the world. He is not focused on the paycheck. He is focused on excellence. He is not just carving a stone. He is creating value. He is creating beauty. He is creating an experience for others. Now, let's ask the question we started with. Over the course of their lives, who do you think will make the most money? It will be the third man. It is not even close. His reputation for passion and excellence will spread. People will seek him out. Other stonecutters will want to learn from him. Kings and queens will want his work, specifically. He will be able to name his price. He will eventually be the one leading the entire project. His wealth, when it comes, will be a simple, unavoidable byproduct of his mission. This is the secret. You have to stop chasing the money. You have to fall in love with the process. You have to fall in love with the value you are creating. So stop asking, "How can I earn more passively?" Stop asking, "How can I get rich quick?" Start asking a new set of questions. A harder, better set of questions. Ask yourself, what valuable thing can I create passionately? Ask yourself, what problem can I solve for people so well that they will be happy to pay for the solution? Ask yourself, what mission can I join that is bigger than myself? When you find the answer to that question, and you pour your soul into it, the money will come. It will come as a natural result of the value you are putting out into the world. But this path changes more than just your bank account. It changes how you see your entire life and what you leave behind. It is not just about you. It is about what you pass on. Chapter 8. The responsibility of wealth. Don't let your children be lazy. Let's ask a question. Why do you work so hard? If you are a parent or you plan to be one, Your answer is probably immediate. It is automatic. I am doing this for my kids. It is the most powerful, noble motivation in the world. We grind, we save, we sacrifice, we work the long hours, we take the risks. We do it all so that our children can have a better life than we did. We want to give them the things we never had. We want to protect them from the struggles we faced. We want to make their path easier. This is a beautiful instinct, but it is also a dangerous one. What if better and easier are not the same thing? In the last few chapters, we have established a powerful truth. Meaningful labor is what forges us. The struggle, the challenge, the resistance, that is what builds our character, our resilience, and our skill. The struggle is what made us strong. So here is the terrifying paradox of parenthood. What happens when, in our loving attempt to make our children's lives easy, we accidentally make them weak? What happens when we successfully protect them from every single challenge? What happens when we remove every obstacle from their path? We are not building them up. We are crippling them. We are stealing from them the one thing they need to build their own lives. We are stealing their struggle. This is not a theory. This is a story that happens every single day. Let me tell you a true story. It is about a young, ambitious woman. She was smart, she was driven, and she had just graduated from college, ready to start her career. Then, she fell in love and married into a very, very wealthy family. This family was old money. They had achieved the dream several generations ago. They did not work. They lived off their assets. Their entire family culture was one of idleness. When this young woman, now a wife, announced she was going to get a job, the family was horrified. They forbade it. "That is not what we do," they said. "We do not work." Her new life was, by all outside standards, a paradise. She lived in a mansion. She had cars. She had staff. She had an unlimited bank account. She had achieved the passive income fantasy that everyone else is chasing. She had everything. And she was, by her own account, suicidal. She felt, in her own words, completely and utterly worthless. She would wake up every day with nothing to do. No purpose, no mission, no challenges. She was not a partner. She was a decoration. She was not a contributor. She was a ghost living in a beautiful house. This woman's human spirit, her deep, fundamental need to be useful, was so starved that this perfect life felt like a golden prison. She eventually reached a breaking point, willing to give up all the money, all the mansions, all the freedom, just to have the simple dignity of a job. This story is an X-ray of the human soul. It proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that we need a mission. We are not designed to be idle. A life without purpose is not freedom. It is a psychological cage. So let's go back to our role as parents. What is our true responsibility? Is it just to leave our children a pile of money? That is the easy part. Any fool can leave money. No. Our true, sacred responsibility is to forge children who are capable. It is to leave them with a strong character, a powerful work ethic, and a fire inside them to build something of their own. You must ask yourself this hard question. What am I really teaching my children? They do not listen to what you say. They watch what you do. Do your children see you wake up every day with passion? Do they see you engaged in challenges, solving problems, and talking with excitement about the value you are creating? Or do they see you living the passive dream? Do they see you being idle? Do they see you watching television all day? Do they hear you brag about how you do not have to work? If that is what they see, you are silently teaching them a devastating lesson. You are teaching them that the goal of life is to stop. You are teaching them that work is for suckers. You are teaching them that contribution is for other people. And then, why are you surprised when they grow up lazy? Why are you shocked when they are 25 years old, living in your basement, with no ambition? You are their primary role model. You taught them that. There is a famous phrase, shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. The first generation, the immigrant, the entrepreneur, starts with nothing but labor. They are in their shirt sleeves. They build an empire. The second generation, the son or daughter, is born into wealth. They see the work, they are close to it, and they maintain it. The third generation, the grandchild, is born into a palace. They have never seen the struggle. They have never felt the need. They have only been given the fruits. They do not know the value of the seed. And so, through idleness and incompetence, they lose it all. The family is back in shirt sleeves. The wealth was not a blessing. It was a curse because it destroyed the one thing that created it, a powerful work ethic. Your greatest inheritance is not your bank account. It is your example. Your greatest gift is not your money. It is your passion. Your goal should be to raise children who are so skilled, so resilient, so disciplined, and so ambitious that they do not need your money. That is the ultimate sign of successful parenting. That is the true legacy. But to build this life, to set this example, you need a core philosophy. You need a belief system that can guide you through the good times and the bad. It is time to talk about that philosophy. Chapter 9. Virtue outweighs destiny. Living with humility and heart. Let's talk about a question that has haunted people for thousands of years. Is your life already written? Is it all just fate? Do you believe in luck? It is an easy thing to believe in, especially when you look at the world. Some people are born with every advantage. They are born into wealth, with great connections, with a perfect head start. They had good luck. That is their destiny. Other people are born with nothing. They are born into poverty, with no connections, starting 100 steps behind everyone else. They had bad luck. That is their destiny. It is very, very easy to look at this and feel helpless. It is easy to feel that the game is rigged, that the starting line is all that matters. But there is a different philosophy. It is an ancient idea, but it is also the most practical tool you will ever own. It is a short phrase that contains a universe of power. The phrase is this: virtue outweighs destiny. Let's break that down. Destiny is the part you cannot control. It is your starting point. It is your luck, good or bad. It is the hand of cards you were dealt. You did not choose it. It was given to you. Virtue is the part you can control. This is not just about being nice. In this philosophy, virtue means your character. It means your effort. It means your passion, your diligence, your resilience. It is your labor. Virtue outweighs destiny. This means that your character is more powerful than your circumstances. It means that your labor is more important than your luck. It means that the hand you are dealt is not as important as how you play that hand. This one single idea is the engine of a successful life. It is the ultimate source of power. Why? Because it gives you true freedom. It makes you the creator of your life, not a victim of it. This philosophy does 2 critical things. It protects you in failure, and it grounds you in success. First, let's talk about failure, because you will fail. You will lose the client. You will get fired from the job. Your business idea will collapse. The market will crash. These things are guaranteed to happen. This is destiny throwing you a bad card. Now, what happens to the person who believes only in destiny? When they fail, they are crushed. They say, "It was not meant to be." They say, "The world is against me." They say, "I am just unlucky." They give up. Their story is over. But what about the person who believes that virtue outweighs destiny? When they fail, it hurts. But they are not broken. They do not blame fate. They look at what they can control. They look at their virtue. They get to work. They see the failure not as a final judgment, but as a lesson. They get up the next morning, and they put their effort back into the world. They know that their truest asset was never the business or the job or the money. Their truest asset is their work ethic. It is their skill. It is their passion. This is the source of all resilience. There is a powerful truth that every entrepreneur and every skilled craftsman knows in their bones. A good person, a passionate person, a diligent person will never be without opportunity. You can take everything from this person. You can take their money, their house, their job, but you cannot take their virtue. You cannot take their character. And with that, they will build a new life, a new business, a new career, from the ground up. They will always be fine, because they are the asset, not their stuff. That is how this philosophy protects you from failure. But it has a second job, which is just as important. It protects you from the poison of success. Let's say you win. You win big. You sell your company for $10 million. You get the huge promotion. You achieve everything you ever dreamed of. This is a moment of great danger, because when you succeed, it is incredibly tempting to believe you are a genius. It is tempting to believe you did it all by yourself. It is tempting to become arrogant. Arrogance is the first step toward the end of your success. The arrogant person stops listening. The arrogant person stops learning. The arrogant person stops working hard because they believe they have solved the game. But the person who believes that virtue outweighs destiny remains humble. When they succeed, they are proud of their virtue. They know their hard work paid off, but they also look back and acknowledge destiny. They acknowledge the luck that played a part. They acknowledge the lucky break, the person who gave them a chance, the market trend that just happened to go their way. They do not see themselves as a genius. They see themselves as a combination of hard work and good fortune. This humility keeps them grounded. It keeps them hungry. It keeps them kind. It keeps them working. It ensures that this success is not the end of their story, but just one chapter in a long, productive life. This is the philosophy that builds an empire and allows you to keep it. So where does this leave us? Your life is not a fixed point you are walking toward. It is not a movie you are just watching. Your life is a road you are building, stone by stone, with every single choice you make. Your virtue, your character, your effort, your passion, your labor is the trowel in your hand. Your destiny is not written for you. You are writing it right now with your actions. We have come a long way on this journey together. We have torn down the myth of passive income. We have built a new, healthier definition of freedom. We have found the glory in labor and the power in virtue. Now there is only one thing left to do. It is time to step onto that road and begin. Chapter 10. Conclusion. The journey ahead. Why labor is your greatest asset. We started this journey together with an image. It was the image of a man on a beach. He was the icon of financial freedom. He was idle, he was passive, and he was supposedly free. Over the course of our time together, we have taken a closer look at that image. We have pulled back the curtain. We learned that the man on the beach was not free. He was a fantasy. And often the real person behind that fantasy was either drowning in debt or trapped in a full-time job of selling that very dream to the rest of us. We have torn down that seductive trap. We have learned that the promise of idleness, the promise of doing nothing, is not a dream. It is a mirage. It is a dangerous lie that makes us weaker, makes us lazier, and makes us vulnerable. We have learned that absolute passive income is a myth. The universe is not passive. It moves toward chaos. And any asset, any business, any skill that is left alone will not grow. It will die. So we have replaced that broken, hollow dream with something real. We have built a new, stronger, and healthier definition of freedom. True freedom is not about escaping activity. It is about escaping anxiety. It is the stable psychological security that comes from building a resilient cash flow, a foundation that covers your needs. It is the peace of mind that liberates you from a life of desperation. And what does this true freedom give you? It does not give you the right to be lazy. It gives you the privilege of choice. It gives you the power to choose your work. It gives you the power to engage in the right kind of labor. And this has been the central, most important idea of our entire journey. Labor is not a curse. Labor is not the price you pay for your life. Labor is your life. It is your single greatest asset. It is the forge. It is the fire that burns away your fragility and forges your resilience. It is the structure that builds your discipline. It is the daily practice that hones your skill into mastery, giving you the only true security on earth. It is the engine that creates value for others, and in doing so, gives your own life a profound, unshakable purpose. We learned that we are not meant to stop. We are meant to evolve. We do not just do the work forever. We move from doing to leading. We learn the art of supervision. We do not abdicate. We do not walk away and let our life's work crumble. We delegate the small tasks so we can free our minds for the great ones. We work on the system, not just in it. We become the architect, the strategist, the guide. This is not passive. This is the highest, most valuable form of labor. We learned that when we do this, we must change our focus. We stop chasing money. We know that money is just a byproduct. It is the applause the world gives you for a job well done. Instead, we chase value. We become the third stonecutter. We do not just carve a stone. We do not just do a job. We join a mission. We build a cathedral. And the money, the success, the recognition, it all follows as a natural, unavoidable consequence. And we do this not just for ourselves. We do it for those who come after us. We learned the awesome responsibility of wealth and success. We learned that our greatest legacy is not the money we leave our children, but the example we set for them. We cannot protect them from struggle because struggle is what makes them strong. We cannot give them an easy life because an easy life creates weak people. Our job is to show them what passion looks like. Our job is to show them what a strong work ethic looks like. Our job is to raise children who are so capable, so resilient, and so disciplined that they do not need our money. They are ready to build their own cathedrals. Finally, we learned the philosophy that holds all of this together. Virtue outweighs destiny. We accept that we cannot control our luck. We cannot control the hand we are dealt. But we know with absolute certainty that the hand we are dealt is not as important as how we play that hand. Our virtue, our character, our effort, our passion, our labor is the force that shapes our world. This belief makes us resilient in failure and humble in success. So where does this leave us this morning, right now? We are at the beginning. The old, broken dream told you there was a finish line. A magical day when you would cross the tape, hang up your shoes, and stop forever. That was the lie. There is no finish line. Life is not a race to be finished. It is an infinite game to be played. The journey itself is the reward. The challenge itself is the joy. The labor itself is the glory. The true enemy is not hard work. The true enemy is not a challenge. The true enemy is passivity. It is idleness. It is laziness. It is the belief that you are entitled to a reward without an effort. That is the philosophy of the fallen idol. That is the mindset that leads to ruin. The journey ahead of you is not about finding a way to stop. It is about finding work worth doing. It is about finding a problem you are passionate about solving. It is about finding a skill you are obsessed with mastering. It is about finding a cathedral you were born to build. So let's begin. Thank you for listening. Now go find your work. The journey does not end here. This is the beginning. You came to this audiobook, perhaps, with one definition of success, a definition that was sold to you, a dream of passive income, a dream of an escape, a finish line where all your work would finally stop. You leave this audiobook with a new definition. The outcome of our time together is not a set of rules. It is a new mind. You now know that the dream of idleness is a seductive trap. You know that true freedom is not the absence of activity, but the absence of anxiety. It is the power to choose your work. You now know that your labor is not a curse. It is your single greatest asset. It is the forge that builds your resilience, your skill, and your purpose. You are not a victim of your destiny. You are the architect of your life, the one who builds it stone by stone. You are the third stonecutter. So here is the final call to action. This is not a like or subscribe. This is a challenge to your life, starting right now. When this audio ends, do not just go back to your day. Look at your work. Look at the tasks in front of you. Find the stone you are carving. Then, make a choice. Find the cathedral in that task. Ask yourself, how can I do this with excellence? What is the true value I am creating for someone else? How can I be the architect of this moment, not just the actor? Your new life does not begin when you quit your job or sell your company. It begins in the next 5 minutes, when you change your mind about the work you are already doing. The work is waiting. Go and be glorious in your labor.